Turning now to a major announcement out of the Middle East. Fighting between Israel and Hezbollah officially at a standstill. This after a ceasefire agreement announced by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Biden yesterday has now been in effect for hours. The deal brokered by the U.S. and France includes the following: 60 days for a full withdrawal of Israeli troops, the gradual drawback set to begin in just 10 days, and for Hezbollah, a full retreat of their forces and weapons 20 miles into Lebanon, away from the Israeli border. They will not be allowed to rebuild infrastructure or weaponry again in that area after they vacate. CBS News foreign correspondent Debora Patta is in northern Israel, where businesses have started to open back up.
We're just a few miles from the Lebanese border. Kiryat Shmona has been a ghost town for over a year. You can see some of the destruction in the city. And as we drove in, we saw a few cars driving back here. Some of the shops were reopening. We also heard a couple of explosions, but nobody is saying that the ceasefire has been breached yet. But there is deep distrust on both sides. Israelis are saying they're still worried that Hezbollah could hit them. And likewise, Lebanese residents are also saying they don't trust Israel to hold to this ceasefire. So it's going to be a tense 60-day wait to see if this deal holds. Back to you.
Thank you, Deborah. Well, the news of that ceasefire is sparking lots of hugs and tears of joy as displaced families begin their trek home to southern Lebanon after months of fighting. Lebanon's army says it is preparing to send troops to the country's south to make sure that truce deal holds. And they've asked residents of the border region not to return until Israeli forces pull out. But the lines of traffic on the main route out of Beirut tell us people are doing the exact opposite. And that's where we find BBC Middle East correspondent Hugo Bechega in Beirut as people desperately try to get home.
This is the main road between Beirut and the south of the country, and for hours since this ceasefire came into effect, thousands of people have been trying to go back to their homes, families, people carrying their belongings, lots of mattresses here. People are waving and carrying flags, Hezbollah flags, and also posters with the face of the late leader Hassan Nasrallah, who was assassinated in an Israeli attack in Beirut. This happens despite warnings from the Israeli military and also from Lebanese authorities telling people not to go back to their homes now. This is a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from the south of the country. And people here are telling us that they haven't been defeated in this conflict despite the widespread destruction caused by airstrikes and also the massive blows that Hezbollah has suffered. They say that this is a sign of victory.
That was BBC Middle East correspondent Hugo Bechega in Beirut for us. Thanks so much, Hugo.